Welcome back to Tarot by the Bay. I'm David. Okay, maybe one of many Super Tuesday readings that you get on, well, what will be Tuesday, March 5th. Okay, first off, for those wondering, what is Super Tuesday? Usually there's folks outside the United States, but even some folks in the U.S. may not know. When we have our elections, our presidential elections, all the states vote independently as to who they are going to run in the primary. So you have a primary election. So the Republicans can choose their candidate, the Democrats can choose their candidate, other parties choose their candidates, and then in November we have the general election, which pits all these candidates against each other. And on that day in November, the whole country votes on the same day. In the primaries, the states take turns. Super Tuesday is when a bunch of states all vote on the same day. So Republicans are holding primaries, and not all the states have both Republican and Democratic primaries happening at the same time. But for the sake of this one, we're going to assume they do, because really the states where the primaries are they're being contested is on the Republican side. Joe Biden is going to win the Democratic primary. But you've got Alabama, Arkansas, California, Colorado, Maine, Massachusetts, Minnesota, North Carolina, Oklahoma, where the winds go, Tennessee, Texas, Vermont, and Virginia. Alaska and Utah are holding caucuses, which isn't a statewide voting thing. It's like a bunch of people that go to the county fair and throw rocks at each other. So I don't know what caucuses do. Why you wouldn't just have your folks vote is beyond me. But hey, some places like Iowa just need to have their caucuses. So God bless them. That's what they want. That's what they're going to do. Okay, so come on down. Let's see. Nikki Haley just kicked Donald Trump's butt in Washington, D.C., but that's probably as a liberal a conservative area as you're going to find. Does that make any sense? Washington, D.C. is basically Democratic. It's like 90% people are registered as Democrats. But the Republicans in Washington, D.C., they're not liberal by any stretch of the imagination. But a lot of them are college educated, and Trump doesn't do well with college educated people. Wonder why. Entertainment purposes only. How are things looking for Donald Trump on Super Tuesday? 7 of Wands. Well, how many states are having 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 13 states are having elections, and 2 states are having caucuses. I'm not saying he's only going to win 7 of 13. I suspect it's going to be a lot more than that. But, how's Trump going to do? He's going to be coming out fighting, defending, and basically he's going to be doing well. The Hermit card. I think this pretty much is spelling the end of Nikki Haley. Donald Trump is going to be running his victory laps and probably running his mouth at the same time. This is going to be a huge relief to him because he's going to pick up a metric crap ton of delegates, which is what he needs in order to secure the Republican nomination. I was going to put some commentary about Nikki Haley. What was it going to be? Probably, I think Nikki Haley was hoping for a couple of things. One was Trump getting kicked off the ballots. Well, the Supreme Court ruled today that they have no intention of allowing states to kick Trump off the ballots. So that path to the White House is done. I think she was hoping that maybe some of these court cases, like the documents case or the January 6th insurrection case, would happen and dissuade people from wanting to vote for Trump during the primary season. Well, it looks like both of those are going to get kicked the can down the road. The Supreme Court, heck, they're even going to let Donald Trump be king. They're going to debate whether presidents can be kings, and they're not even going to begin hearing oral arguments until near the end of April, which means that sometime at the end of May or mid-June, they might come up with a ruling. And the ruling is going to be, of course, they're not kings. Of course, they can't call SEAL Team 6 to eliminate their political opponents. Duh! And if on some chance they decide that maybe that's a good thing and presidents are kings, man, I hope Biden summarily executes a bunch of insurrectionists in the Senate and in the House. And some, other people too. But you know what? Entertainment purposes only. It ain't never going to happen. And the funny thing is, Biden, if given that power, wouldn't use it anyways. That's not who he is. So for the Republicans, it's win-win. If they vote that presidents can be kings, Biden won't act like that. So the next Republican will. That's what we're dealing with. Oh, I'm sorry. This is a reading about Trump and Super Tuesday, not my anger and disgust with the Supreme Court. All for entertainment purposes only. How's Trump going to do? In the past, you got the devil card. People just refuse to pull the chains off of their neck. They are Trumpers through and through. MAGA is alive and well. And, Trump attacks Nikki Haley, bird brain as he likes to refer to her. I don't know what she's ever done to earn that moniker from somebody with room temperature IQ like Donald Trump. But hey, so be it. And not a very warm room either, we're talking. So devil card. People have tied themselves to Trump in the past. They've forgotten what a train wreck and dumpster fire his administration was. And they were just ready to put him in office again. At least to represent the Republicans. Donald Trump's going to come out of Super Tuesday in a very strong position. I think at this point, he's going to start putting the pressure on Nikki Haley to quit. Just quit already, And he needs the strength of Super Tuesday because he's about to start his felony court cases in New York. And I like how Bo, the fifth column, phrased it. I think it was Bo that phrased it this way. The first of his election fraud cases. Not a hush money payment. This is the 2016 election fraud case with the 31 felonies in New York. Overarching energy is the King of Wands. I think at this point Trump is in the driver's seat. He's basically going to be calling the shots. Oh, and then you got and also is it on the 8th of March is when Ronna Romney steps down, and now he's going to put his boy in charge there, and so he's going to get all the RNC money too. Unless the RNC somehow passes some rules before Trump's right-hand man makes it in there so that Trump doesn't get to raid the funds to help his political campaigns, or more likely his legal bills. The lesson to be learned is the high priestess. They're voting for the king when it's the woman is their best shot for taking the presidency. Nikki Haley, I think she sees the writing on the wall at this point. She said she was going to stay in the race through Super Tuesday. I think she said she was going to not drop out of the race. She wasn't going to necessarily support the presidential candidate. I think after Tuesday, she knows the writing's on the wall. It's just a matter of when she's going to fold her cards. Again, I think part of her strategy was that the court cases would kick him off of states' ballots, and she would get those delegates. And then again, if he's kicked out of those state ballots, then that would be states he can't win in the presidential election, and that mean there's no chance of him winning the presidential election. So maybe she should run because she could be elected president where Donald Trump couldn't be, and all these machinations, all these different ways where she could see her path to the White House. The only things that are going to get her to the White House now is if Trump has his major health event that is revealed, and he either can't run or he dies or something like that, you know? And if he's dead, they'll come up with an AI version of him. It's just how do you fake the smell? That's how you can tell the AI version from the non-AI version. Yeah, I think she sees the writing on the wall. She may not drop out on the off chance that something happens to Trump, but I think at this point, after Super Tuesday, she realizes that her path to the White House does not involve her getting more delegates than Donald Trump. Outcome is the emperor. Trump has got he's in full command of the Republican Party. Absolutely full command of the Republican Party. And then basically the pressure campaign starts on Nikki Haley over the next month. I imagine Trump will want Nikki Haley out of the race prior to the Alvin Bragg first election interference trial that happens at the end of March. Whether she does it or not, we will find out. Okay. How is Trump... I should ask. Give her equal time. How's Nikki Haley's feeling? You know, what's her presidential hopeful situation looking like after Super Tuesday? We looked at Donald Trump and it looks really, really positive for him. So by that token, the cards for Nikki Haley shouldn't be that good. Now watch I get the exact same cards. Like, wait a minute. All right, how's Nikki Haley looking after Super Tuesday? How's her presidential campaign looking? Well, Seven of Cups could be integrity. But this is, this is trying to find the pearls in a big pile of pig poo. You know what I mean? This just... starting to wonder if she's fooling herself, basically. And reevaluating her path forward. Okay, I'm still doing well with Republicans who are college educated and some women's groups. Her subset, which is kind of like her core voters are still showing up. They're still there. The exit polls are stating she still has them. She still knows she can beat Biden, but she can't beat Trump. And the reality is setting in. She's running out of options here. And now Donald Trump is going to start putting the pressure on her. Now, one of the things I saw, and she said absolutely not in a gazillion million years, where Trump asks her to be the VP. I'm just saying, to quote Romeo Void's greatest hit, never say never. Again, one of Nikki Haley's paths to the White House is to be Trump's VP. Trump gets elected and isn't president for very long, for whatever reason. And then she can step in, 25th Amendment or something along those lines, and then be the president. That is another way for her to get in. I don't know if I'm seeing that with this, though. What I'm seeing is she's looking at her options. She's running out of options. And while the American oligarchy is still supporting her, they're pulling funding from her. So she still has their support, but she doesn't have their money. And things are about to get really, really difficult for Nikki Haley to stay in this race because she's not seeing a path forward. She's losing her funding. And without those delegates, without those Supreme Court decisions, life is getting really difficult for her. There we go. High Priestess, as I was saying in this Lesson to Be Learned card, this is now her in the past. Feminine wisdom, divine knowledge, the strength of the feminine. This is representing her and her choices against pretty much any other Republican candidate. She would be holding her own and perhaps winning. But she cannot beat Donald Trump in this day and age with the current extremism in the Republican Party. Current situation is the Queen of Wands. Wands are about action, taking action. What are her next actions? She's seeing her pathway to the presidency is being diminished. She's losing funding. It's getting harder and harder to get to where she needs to go. He has to start. The other part about the high priestess is you have to start being real with yourself and honest with yourself. The overarching energy is the heartbreak and betrayal. She did say she was going to stay through Super Tuesday. I believe she said she was going to stay through like the 18th of March. And I don't think, even with the pressure she's going to get from the Trump campaign, I think she intends on honoring her word. She doesn't want to betray her word on this. The other thing, again, is if Trump offers her the VP ship, is she going to turn it down? How politically ambitious is she going to be if that offer comes through? And again, if Trump truly wants to win the presidency, he would kind of need to offer the VP ship to Nikki Haley to have any chance of getting her supporters that are never Trumpers to vote for him. It's the politically savvy move. Now, Nikki Haley is not who Trump wants as the VP, and I can imagine the minute he's elected, he wants her to resign so he can, put Lara Trump or Gwen, Elise Stefanik or somebody like that in there. But lesson to be learned. Honestly, this election's not stolen from her, and it wasn't a stolen election in 2020. I think this is the realization that she had several backup plans to become the president of the United States. The Supreme Court kicking Trump off of states. Could be Trump having an illness. Trump having all sorts of court cases. And all these ways where she could have snuck in the back door, they're going away. Her only backdoor way now into the White House is to be the vice president. And maybe this is saying she's got one more trick up her sleeve. She could be on Trump plane with him and then give a push. Down the stairs he goes. Melania's gonna say, "Oh, he tripped. He trips all the time. Is he dead? Oh, good." Oh dear. Messaging quickly. Yeah, we're gonna get messaging from Miss Haley. I don't know what this is. Again, it could be a negotiation, and I'll throw on that one. There could be negotiations between, she might play hardball with Trump, is what I'm trying to say. Drop out, it's costing me way too much money. Nope. What is it going to cost? What is it going to take for you to drop out? I want to be the VP. She could extort him like that. Now, again, she says she doesn't want it. That's fine. I don't blame her. I wouldn't want it either. But if I wanted to be the president of the United States, you got two options. You're setting yourself up for the 2028 election, which is maybe what she's trying to do. Or if you think that Joe Biden cannot beat Donald Trump, and if Donald Trump's president, there's not going to be a presidential election in 2028. You know what I mean? There's only a 2028 election if Biden wins. So do you go for the VP ship, count on Trump winning, and then when he expires, you become the president? Or do you gracefully bow out and do everything you can do? Well, that's just it. She can't do everything that she wants to do. Because if she tells folks to vote against Trump, she'll never have the support of Trump supporters. Not that she would anyways, but she will be a poison pill. Much like Liz Cheney is in the Republican Party. And so she won't get the 2028 nomination either. Her political career is done for the next 10 to 12 years. Or however long it takes to purge MAGA from the voting rolls in the United States. Okay. What's next for Trump and Haley? What's next for Trump and Haley here? For both of them combined as a unit, a unifying force. Two of Pentacles. Decisions need to be made. Compromises. Flipping. Compromises. Compromises. Compromises are going to be made between the two of them. Working together. Working for money. Fundraising. Because she's sitting on the money. She's sitting on the money. Trump needs the money. And he's got to do fundraising. Not to mention he's got court cases with money too. Campaigning, wanting that money. It's money related. Their next steps between the two of them are absolutely money related. In the past, Page of Cups. Bird brain. That's a cat on his head. Fish lips. Page of Cups. This messaging about relationships, odd couples. They would certainly be an odd couple as a political unity, as it were. Their voters don't see eye to eye on things. So we'll see. I'm not trying to force Nikki Haley into the VP ship here. Planning next steps. She's stuck. She's got no path forward. And he knows it. He knows she has no path forward. You got a pair of twos here. It's transition time for her. It's time for her to transition. And she knows it. Empress. Oh dear. Going from the High Priestess to the Empress. I am not convinced. I am not convinced that her political run in the 2024 elections is over with. Okay, so now we're just going to ask two questions here. Originally, I was going to ask, how's Nikki Haley feeling after the Super Tuesday? How's Donald Trump feeling after Super Tuesday? Who cares? Now it's going to be, is Donald Trump going to ask Nikki Haley to be the vice president? And the next row is going to be, is Nikki Haley going to accept? That's where my mind's going. So let's just ask, how about a direct question, huh? Think Spirit will answer a direct question? Okay. Will Donald Trump ask Nikki Haley, yes or no? There's the Knight of Swords popping up. That would be a yes. And quickly, is Donald Trump going to ask Nikki Haley, there we go again. This card pops up. To be his vice president running mate. So that's Knight of Swords and the Hierophant, the government. Is Donald Trump going to ask Nikki Haley to be his vice president? Money. If not, he wants her money. He absolutely wants it. He is totally eyeballing her money. He literally is that the turn of the 20th century villain with the stovepipe hat and the waxed mustache and the green collar. Snidely Whiplash here. Queen of Pentacles. He's not doing it because he thinks it's going to get him elected. He's doing it because he wants the money. And she's stuck. She's stuck. She's stuck. She's stuck. He's offering something. Maybe he's offering the... He's offering to allow her into the Apprentice sweepstakes. When I've asked about Trump's VP and such, I keep looking at like the Elise Stefanik's, the Tim Scott's, the Kristi Noem, and I forget who the other person was that's vying for that. I guess we don't really hear about Ben Carson anymore. But you've got like these four people. Who was the other one? There was another woman. I don't remember. I'm picturing the CNN article. He's got these four people all that he's promised each of them the VP ship. And when I get the the magician card, it's like he's going to offer it to her too. She's like the widow she's the rich widow, and he's the creep that's trying to come in and marry the rich widow so he can get access to her money. Like, come on, join the VP sweepstakes. I know what you need to do to get the rose from me, and that's give me all your money. She's not seeing. Here's the thing with Nikki Haley. She's not seeing a political out here. I think she's really concerned that this is her one best opportunity to be the president of the United States, and that 2028 isn't going to be a great option. So, what does she do? Does she, combine herself with the emperor here and take the offer and go? She really, really, really would have to bite her tongue. If he does offer it to her, she's not going to say a word to anybody, and she's going to take time to think about it. She won't say yes right away. She's going to think about it. She actually will play kind of hard to get. Where, all these other people are falling over themselves trying to be Trump's running mate. She would be the one that's reluctant to doing it. And of course, that makes her made out of unobtainium, which is that very rare element that Donald Trump finds absolutely intoxicating. So he'll try that much harder because she won't open up the purses to him. Won't give him the purse strings. Okay. It looks like she's gonna think about it. So, Nikki Haley, if Donald Trump offers you the VP ship, what are you eventually gonna say? Say yes? You're gonna say no. With all rides, she doesn't have free will anymore. It all rides on these cards. Whatever I throw, that's got to be her answer. She's run out of choices at that point. That's not how this works. If that worked, I'd have a voodoo doll up here. It'd be orange and have a diaper on it. Isn't that great? I mean, our cartoon's great for giving us this false impression of what voodoo dolls can do. And crystal balls and all that stuff. Scooby-Doo is really ruined me. Hanna-Barbera and Scooby-Doo. I don't think Bugs Bunny did voodoo dolls, did they? Crystal balls, sure, but not voodoo dolls. Voodoo dolls kind of dark. Bugs Bunny never really got into the dark stuff here. Okay, what is that? Nikki Haley, if offered the VP ship, will you take it? Knight of Wands. That's possibly deciding her best course of action, step by step. The Sun card, Temperance, Two of Wands, Seven of Wands. She won't accept it right away because she intends to keep fighting. It's like she hasn't exhausted her options yet. She's still moving forward. And I think it's kind of she really is weighing her 2024 versus 2028 options. Central underneath it is Temperance, patience, wait. Plan for the future, and your time will come. To me, this would say no, she's not planning on doing it because she's like, you know what? Okay, this was great. I'm setting up my cred for 2028. That's when my current plan is. I'm going to hit this on 2028, and it'll be 2028. It'll be a completely different environment, and I need to be looking to the future and getting ready for that battle. If she were to take it, it's like, this is my best chance. This would be my best chance. This is the closest I'm going to get to it. I can deal with his toxicity long enough. I can get my agendas through. I can deal with his toxicity. The truth's going to be known about Donald Trump, and he's going to be on his way. And then I'm in. Okay. So that's kind of what I think she's going to delay, but that's kind of the contemplation that she's going through. Honestly, she hasn't made up her mind yet. Or it's gonna be, sorry, this is my thumb covering the camera. It's gonna take her a bit to make up her mind. That's fine. Let him hang by the phone waiting for her phone call, not the other way around. Okay. Will Nikki Haley suspend her campaign by the beginning of April? Little four-carder, and then we'll call it a wrap here. She's still okay. So beginning of April, she's stuck between a rock and a hard place. She doesn't know what she's going to do. She's, again, this card's come up multiple times for her. She doesn't want to give up, but her path forward seems to be odd. Fundraising is an issue. Finding money to pay for things is an issue. Again, she had a great campaign war chest, but her biggest donors have stopped donating. She's got to evaluate her options and be realistic with herself. Looking for that path forward, it's just not there. And, you know, she's had her time. It's like she's put up a good campaign. She's the last person standing. Heartbreak and betrayal. Heartbreak. It's just, I think by the end of March, beginning of April, she's ready to suspend her campaign. You know, she's done. She's done all she can do. Now, it could be this star card that's when Trump makes a proposal to her because he wants that. But that's always a part. Or this could just be her rising star for 2028 as opposed to 2024. I'm thinking that soon, you know, somewhere between the end of March and beginning of April, well, maybe in early April, we're going to find out Nikki Haley suspending her campaign. And then it's just a matter of Donald Trump holding his vice president apprentice games and watching folks jump through hoops. Jumping through all sorts of hoops as he puts them through the ringer, trying to find out who his most loyal fanatic vice president's going to be. That ought to be revolting. Anyways, let's end it here. Thank you very much for watching this video and supporting my channel. Thank you for your likes and your shares and your comments and everything you do to help support this channel and get it out to a wider audience. To folks just discovering this channel recently for the first time, welcome to the channel. I hope you found this reading insightful, and I'll catch you on the next one. Take care.